Afternoon. My name is GH.Dr. Raphael Balogun, and we're talking about sexual righteousness. This is the third episode. In the first episode, we talked generally about the definitions of what sex actually is, what masturbate sex is, and what masturbation is. The second episode, we discussed introductively the the things you need to acquire before you venture into the sexual industry. For this time, we are going to be talking about what they call sexual destruction and sexual empowerment. For the first two videos and these third ones, for the season 1 of sexual righteousness, we'll be talking about it in an introductive manner. There will be second season which is going to speak deeper into what it entails, and the third definitions too. And also you can actually understand better what sexual health is all about if you're interested in becoming a sexual health doctor or a general health doctor by logging into education.ayeconet.com.ng. That is our university, and to learn how to become a general health doctor that does not require drugs and medicine before you treat your patients, where you're going to understand the best method of treating disease and upgrading human health without causing problems for yourself. Without any negative side effect, without any kind of side effect at all that is more than increase in your food consumption and your general level of strength and exercise. All those ones are not negative side effects. They are side effects that are empowering. And also, at least before we even talk about it, let us even understand what side effect is. Side effects are things that, okay, you wanted to treat yourself against malaria, then you treated yourself against malaria, then some other things happen alongside the treatment of malaria. Those alongside things are what we call side effects. Now, they can now be positive or negative. If the side effect is positive, it means the treatment not only cured the malaria but also upgraded your health generally. That is a positive side effect. While there is a negative side effect when your general health reduces aside the treatment of that malaria, and that is the difference between side effects. Now, so when I say you are going to be able to treat yourself and treat other patients without any negative side effect, it means our method will definitely give you side effects, but the side effect will be empowering. You would like it. It's a powerful one, the one that will upgrade your health on the general basis. That is the method we use. Right now we are talking about the sexual righteousness on what is called sexual destruction and sexual empowerment. Now, sexual destruction is the state at which, or the process at which, your sexual health is destroyed. Naturally, the human species don't even know what it means to be sexually healthy. Our definition of sexually healthy is actually not healthy, and the reason is because we have not focused our life in increased performance. Instead, we are just focusing what we call healthiness to what a lot of people. I'll give you an example. Just because everybody are experiencing a version of sickness, everybody, then on the average, some people are healthier, not experiencing that sickness as much as others are experiencing it. Then you now take an average look at everybody. Now say, okay, on the average, the whole human species is experiencing a sickness of muscular dysfunction, for instance, for a particular amount, let's say maximum of 20 kg per second. If you have that as your health, just because the whole human species on the average are experiencing that, that is not the definition of health. So it means your health is negative. It means your definition of healthy is still negative. It is disempowering. You get what I'm saying? Because you say it's healthy because it can carry 20 kg per second or 20 kg per hour for like 1 hour or whatever, when in reality it is possible for human being to carry up to 50, 100, 200 for more than days. So we cannot calculate health by saying it's an average. We will calculate health by increasing the performance. Okay, on the general performance, so this person can perform at this level, while the maximum performance human being has been shown to perform with the attempt to increase your performance has been this so far. So health is not something you can actually have a total cutoff value for the maximum. Yes, you can have cutoff value for the minimum, but not for the maximum. So the minimum will be what we want to take. What we want to say, okay, for an elderly human being, we want an elderly human being to be able to run, jump minimally. You get, for this amount, we can have a minimum cutoff of health. When we are talking about maximum health, we should not put a cap to the maximum amount. Immortality is the maximum health human being can acquire or get to. But you cannot attain immortality if you have already put a cap on what it is to have maximum health. You understand what I'm saying now? So that is it about health. Now, when I say your sexual health is destroyed, I'm saying that the maximum in your health, your ability to perform better sexually has been disempowered, has been destroyed. You get, and there are a lot of things that cause this destruction. There are a lot of things that cause this destruction, believe me. This destruction can also show face in different many ways. For instance, now the most popular type of destruction is one caused by early entry into sex. As a child, you have sex before you are at least 15 years old. The reason is this: when a child is giving birth to, the brain is set to organize every part of the body. So immediately a child is giving birth to, the little brain the child have is what? The little brain the child have is embryonic in nature. It means it is not actually functioning as muscle controller fully or whatever, but it's functioning as the cells that is going to develop muscle controllers, heart controllers, this controller, that controllers, mental processors, this processor. It's an embryonic cell, not a complete fetus or child cell. So it is brain in development. You get, that is what a baby's brain is. That's what an infant brain is. So on the way this child started to, as the child begin to develop muscles, the child will also develop processor and controllers for that muscles. As the child develop bones, immune system, this and that, a cardiac system and the rest. Once the cardiac system is there, once the heart is pumping, the child will start to develop the best processors and controllers for the heart. Once the lung is working, the brain will start to develop the best processors and controllers for the brain, for it to control the lungs and many other things. So in that note, it is very important to understand that before you venture into sex, you must actually make sure that every other part of your organs are fully developed mentally. You get, at least your mental state is fully developed. And the reason is this: now when you jump into sex before you are 15, before your brain completely develop everything it is supposed to develop, before if you venture into sex before that time, your body is going to halt the process of mental development at that point temporarily. Once it halts it is going to now design your sexual chromosome. It's at that point your body starts to design your default chromosome for pregnancy. You get, it is at that point it starts to develop. This is your default chromosome for pregnancy and childbirth. So at that point in time, once you started having sex or whatever sexual seduction that you went through, maybe at the age of 11, at the age of 12, at the age of 13, and your brain was set to fully develop at the age of 15. Now what happens is that your brain does not have complete controllers, right? Now when your sexual system is supposed to write the gene that is going to put as your default chromosome for your child, what it is going to do is this: your current state of development is what is going to write. So if your brain is half developed, it is going to write it in your chromosome that for your child, the brain must be developed to this level. Any other development that may come is purely optional. That is what is going to happen to the brain at that note. So it's now going to put it on the optional basis. No, I don't. I'm actually making the video. So, as I'm saying, sorry for the disruption. As I was saying, what is this flashing? Excuse me. 47 missed call. And you initial. Now, as I am saying, your default chromosome is now going to be the state at which you were when your first sexual encounter happened constantly. Now, I used to say something. Maybe you accidentally masturbated once, twice, and then stop. Your body is going to count that as a pure organism, orgasm, like your organ, a kind of accident, malfunction. That's what your body is going to count it as, your brain, your sexual organ, your everything. So it is going to halt and continue your general development during puberty until your mental state, you have all the controllers and all the right processors for all muscles, all organs, all tissues, all cells of your body to develop. You get, but once that is not done, you get, once it is a real constant stuff, the body is going to assume that, okay, God developed, or the creator of heaven and earth developed you, your designer, your creator, because we did not exist by evolution. Our complexity cannot be by evolution. It's not possible. And I'm a creationist. So, as I'm saying, when God designed us, He designed us to, okay, this is our major function, and He said we should actually procreate. In order to survive, you would have to adapt to changes. And then if the climate started to change as it has changed till today, the only way my own child will survive the climate is if all the survival instinct that I have survived is written for my child to survive. If not, if my child is going to carry the existential gene that was created for me or in me when climate has not changed, it means, and then climate has now changed by a U-turn of 100%, and I'm passing a gene that has not altered itself to actually adapt to the current environmental changes, my child will not be able to survive. It means my generation will terminate immediately. So it is that process that we write your gene, your transferable gene, to your child, that also write it when you jump into sex before maturity. And once you jump into sex before maturity, it is immature genes, it is your immature state that your sexual organ, your sperm dot, your egg dot is going to code in as genetic state of being into, because it will believe that the state of the planet currently requires more of low mental state, requires your current immature state for survival. That is what you are tricking your body to believe. And once your body believes that for the survival of the next species, from what it has seen, it seems like early reproduction is the key, and maturity is not part of the key. Like mental maturity, muscular maturity are not part of the requirement to procreate. You get, that is when your body will like, okay, let's do it this way. Child will quickly, that's where you will see that children quickly started entering their puberty at early stages, doing their messes and a lot of things, their sexual organ developing first, and then their mental processes are gone. We are Homo sapiens, right? We are thinking man, right? We are conscious human being, right? And that is what we are created to be, right? If we are created to be all of this, then we are not actually dogs that only have sexual organ and a limit on their cognitive functions, are we? You get? So on that note, what is going to happen is this: once you jump into sex prematurely, your body is going to write a premature gene coding everything you were when you started having that sex. Now, if you have not had that sex from 12 years old, 11 years old to 15 years old, 16, 17, your body's focus on development will now shift away from your brain, from your heart, from your organs of power to organs of reproduction. Once it shifts, all these parts will lack nutrient, and then they will be stunted and they will stop. Plus, your body is now, your sexual organs, your reproduction organs will now record your current stagnant state mentally and physically, and put that as the default gene for your child. On that note, you have already destroyed your child sexually. That is the first sexual destruction. That is the first destruction that comes from early jumping into the sexual world. I'll tell you from experience and from my own evidence, the first sexual experience, masturbation, that I had in my life was after I am close to 17 years old. I have clocked 16, but few months to 17. And science said at the age of 15, your brain, your mental health, your brain itself have all the controllers of all the type of tissues and muscles that was created in your body from the start. Yes, you may not have the enough control over them, but the processing, the hardware for control have already started to be in existence at the age of 15. So while you did not wait, if you did not wait for the age of 15 before you have your constant, non-accidental sexual experience that stagnates your growth, your brain and your body is going to halt the process of embryonism, stopping it from developing all the controllers required and processors requires to control every type of tissues and organs in your body. In short, you will lack totally all those at that point in time. So once you lack totally all those at that point in time, your child is going to be given an immature gene. Yes, I used to say something, there is no problem without a solution. If you've done that, there's a way out. It's just that you would have what they call auxiliary gene. This gene is, this auxiliary kind of chromosome is a beta chromosome. It's not the default, but it's this one that updates, okay, things have changed again. You get, for my child to survive, that is the auto design that is in our body. For my child to survive, for my generation to exist, this update must be passed directly to the gene pool of my child. But we are not sure yet if it is permanent. You get, it will now mean, it means that the child will have the gene that you newly acquired after that default gene, but it's not a must for that child to express it. What your child will primarily express is the first one. You will now have to train your child with iron hand, or to actually go through the real rigorous process of development before other genes can now be adapted. Because at this point in time now, if you are the type that reached 14, 12, before that time, your child will have to reach like 20 years before having the first sexual encounter. Because it is after that 15 years, it's going to follow the same process. Stop, build sexual, whatever. Then the adapted gene will now update after. That's when it will now update the article, because they update the article, the body gene article. The reason is because you see how complex we human beings is. Do you think gene editing is easy? Look at how complex our being we are as a being. We have trillions of cells. If it merges at the same time with the default one, it's going to cause catastrophic error. And once it causes catastrophic error, you will experience children with deformities. That's why you experience children with body control deformities. You will experience children with muscular deformities. It is because you've already said this person should be weak before, then this person should not be weak again. And then the gene has now matched them together, causing genetic confusion for the child. So during the pregnancy, the genetics will now be confused. And once the gene is confused, it's just going to build alleles, cut alleles, they cut each other. Let's say, okay, well, the best thing, because it's an automated process that is not conscious. Those processes are not conscious. Consciousness is only after birth. All those processes are the pre-designed growth that are automatic in nature, but you've now used all those imbalances to cause the problem. Like a parent that has a weak default gene and suddenly after that period became very strong and then updated his library and then gave birth, and then is not careful enough, an accident happened, and chromosome B and chromosome A now go and mistakenly match together randomly in a stupid way, will now cause genetic confusion that will cause that deformity. So that is why it is always wise to say, okay, well, before the child this, so you try your best possible to first correct your default gene. You get it? Means you would have to experience a kind of change of gene. But those solutions are not what we'll be explaining in this video. This video is first trying to explain sexual destruction of the human species. So I've explained the first major one. The first major one is jumping into sex too early before your body is fully developed. Before, it's not even your whole body has muscle and cells. It is the brain that has not fully developed. Your brain must be fully developed before you decide to venture into sexual intercourse at all. Anything your sexual organ should be left alone till your brain is totally developed, in order not to cause a lot of stuffs that will cause problem. Because I said it before in this video that the brain is embryonic from birth, and what it's doing is checking for every kind of cell in your body and their predefined proportion in order to create the proportional controllers and processor before any other thing. You get? But you have now stopped it from doing that. So once you stop it from doing that completely before 15, you will have the cells, but you will not have control over them. And once you have the cells, you have the genes, you have the particular progresses, superpowers that we think we have, but we don't have control over them. It's now going to cause problem later. So that is one. The second sexual destruction, which is this first sexual destruction that is causing this. Now, the second problem that this early jumping into sexual life has caused is this shortening of our longevity. Like, look at the rate at which human beings die in the past. They died 100, 200. They will check the Bible. There is 900, there is 700, there is 800 years, there is 600 years. It's not difference in language at all. In fact, time is faster now than it was then, because we are closer to the sun now than before. The radius is different. The radius is the radius between us and the sun is very far. So it takes a longer time to experience a year and a day during those periods. But during this period, a year is faster than it is. Like if you look at 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years ago, a day, like maybe 500,000 years or 5 million years ago, a day can be equal to this current year because of the magnitude of distance between the planet and the sun. And then it doesn't need to rush around, so the rotation will also be slow, giving us a kind of value of super long day and super long night. And then the species at that time will also have a kind of adapted features in their body that will make them survive that type of life. That is it on that one. So it's not about the difference of this, it is the way we trained our body. Like, we are not allowing our body to develop completely before jumping into the reproductive mood. Now, there are two instars in the body. The first stage of the human body is development. The second stage is ready copy for reproduction. Development first, then copy for reproduction. Now, instead of us to first complete the development, we are not completing the development. We are cutting the development and then saying that we are okay with the information currently available, copy for reproduction. That is what it means to jump into the sexual world without attaining the age where at least your brain is fully developed to control and direct your future development. But once that has happened, once you are 15 years old, you are 16 years old, your brain has all it takes. Now it's time to prepare your reproduction organ. Then when your brain has all this, when it's going to write out the codes for your child, your chromosome, it's going to write a complete chromosome of what you are as a human being and not a half-baked human being. You get a complete human being with all chromosomes set. So if we are talking about the mutation that is changing people's gene, that is deleting, reducing the gene, it is for the human race and for all animals primarily sexual before radiation. Radiation can hardly affect your organs. There's what they call cell repair, and your body knows that the gene that has changed, the body is developed with what they call cellular repair. You get what your body is not designed against is, okay, your body sees this as the new correct thing. It doesn't need to repair it. You get that is what happened with early sex. But if it is radiation attack, over time your body is still going to repair it back to what it should be if the organ itself is not damaged. If it is just the codes that was scattered, it is still going to, the same way it wrote the default, is going to rewrite everything again if the organ is not destroyed. You get, but for that is it for that one, sha. That is it for DNA repair. So you should be careful. You should be very careful. Don't just jump into sex without being sure that you've developed everything you are supposed to develop before going into it. That is it for that. Then the second one I said about the life shortening. Say the person that has not been able to control his heart very well because he does not have all control processor for his heart. He does not have control processors for his lung and all the types of cells on the lung, on the heart that can reactivate themselves. Maybe when there's a difference in the moisture of air or whatever, that will trigger some kind of cells to start, and then others that were active before, it will trigger them to stop. Maybe it will trigger many more to start. You don't have all these controllers again. They are not there. So what will happen? You are having a machine that does not have any kind of control. What happens to such machine? If there is over voltage, there is no step down, it crashes. If there is lower voltage, there is no step up, it crashes. If the environment just change away from the normal thing, there is no balancer again. You just cut your life short. And what happens to the human health if that happens? Once there is an attack, your heart will not be able to function well to protect your lungs. There will not be a kind of control system that balances every part of your body to adapt to the new situation. That will now reduce your immune response. The heart that is supposed to pound maybe once per minute will be pounding the way it is pounding for everybody now. In short, our heart will pound very fast and then lose all its power very fast, shortening our life. Maybe at a point in development, our heart was supposed to rest with a trigger of another thing that is going to protect us during those resting period of the heart, so that when the heart is ready to start its work back, that thing too can start to rest. That one has been removed. So once your heart stop and that one is not available, you die. When mainly the heart want to rest to boot so that it can start over. Always remember, when look at it very well, when your heart stop, it doesn't mean the organism is dead. If you use pumping machine to be pumping the blood flow again, you realize that the person is still alive. The only problem is that the heart is said to be dead because it is no longer pounding. If you check the heart very well, that time is not pounding, it's still alive, just tired. And something cannot be working for thousands of years per second without having a kind of rest. Now we are supposed to prepare our body for that rest. Like before this rest too, at least the body, that is when we will gain immortality, when our body can survive the amount of years it survived with the earth without the earth, so that the earth will rest. If I'm 100 years, you get, before my heart stop, you get, at least for the next 100 years or even 50 years, I must still be able to be alive to nurture the earth, all this lost energy, before it starts its work again. But because of our sexual destruction, all the genes that are supposed to produce all these cells and controls that will help us in this survival for this kind of longevity, we don't have them again because we've jumped into sex too early. We've said, body, don't develop again, just copy and transfer to the child. That is one. You know, the second sexual destruction is caused by premature, like sex that is not, like you orgasm before you should orgasm. That is the second cause of sexual destruction. This second cause is very funny. Let me explain. I will use computer as an explanation. Now, I copy a program for Windows 10, an operating system. And now the difference between the computer is that this file must copy in the amount of time you are having that sex. If you are going to copy the file, you have to copy the file as fast as possible. Before that time, you will lose interest in that sex for a complete drive transfer. Now, if I'm going to write myself from the beginning to the toe for my child, for the child I want to put inside someone's stomach, you get, for the child I want to put inside someone's stomach, I have to take my time to copy every file in my gene into the sperm before releasing it. The sperm gets thicker, plenty and plenty, as much as you are copying them. Each sperm represents something. Each sperm represents something. The concentration that is increasing represents something. You get what I'm saying? It means you are copying information, releasing the information, releasing the information, releasing the information, releasing the information, like that. I'm talking for the male's perspective now. Before I talk for the female, it's a bit different. Now, if you orgasm early, the meaning is that your sperm, you release the sperm early. Now it means it does not it does not contain complete information. You get, and if it does not contain complete information, then once it enters the vagina, yes, it fertilizes the egg. After it fertilizes the egg, there are two things you did not do. One, you did not do top up. You get, the one that has already activated the cell, the child has activated the child. There is no top up. You forget about that one. Now, you did not top up means you did not add more, so that you can actually do copy, replace and repair every lost file during the sexual intercourse. That is one. Two, even if you now do the copy, like you do the top up, your information inside your sperm is not completely you. It is half you, because you are orgasming, you are releasing it too early. Immediately you start having a kind of seduction. Once at the onset of the seduction at all, your body is starting to prepare a copy of you into the sperm. Once there is a seduction that your body knows will lead to sex, you get, that is powerful enough, it starts the copy. You know, there are two types of seduction. The one that just come and go, that one, it will not do anything because it doesn't like stress. But that one that will come and then something will really happen, it will know, because it is the whole you. It is going to copy it like that, starts to copy, start to copy, start to copy, start to copy. It will keep copying until it has copied. The time you are close to, there is a level of orgasm where you are close to losing interest before you orgasm. Immediately you've gotten to the time of losing interest before orgasm. That point you lost interest, your sperm have contained the complete you. At that point in time, you will enjoy your orgasm. You get what I'm saying now? because you've completely lost the interest. And if you enjoy your orgasm, when you release, it's a full copy of you that you released. Now the problem is this: when the guy now sleep with their wives, whatever, when they impregnate the child, and once they pour the sperm inside, the sperm is just, let's say, 10% of them. Thanks to God, the woman has slept with a lot of guys before, so it has random genes of different guys. Let's even put that up. Let's put that aside. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Whatever. So that is it for that one, Sha. So that's the second one. So you would have to solve your orgasm problem as a guy. You have to last long in sex. It's not that whatever. When you are having that banging, the same time you are having that banging, at that same time your gene is copying itself too. You must make sure you reach that state where you know, like, it is total, like you almost lose the real reason for having sex. At that point in time, whatever sperm you have in your sperm duct contains the complete you. If you are feeling interested and you just lose to it and you orgasm, it is half-baked sperm. You would feel like you are tired of having sex even though you've not released anything. It's at that point in time that it is the complete you. That's why giving birth should be a conscious process. If you are not purposeful, like we want to impregnate each other, like I want this girl to be pregnant, every pregnancy that comes out of it, you have to do a lot of top-ups, complete one to back it up. If not, God knows the amount of information you've passed to your child and the amount of information you've decided to throw away. Maybe it's the one that will make him survive the next coming disaster that we don't know about, that you decided to pocket. You get? So that is why guys need to try to righteously improve their sexual drive. I'll still explain some other things about that. Let me explain the female part. For females, instead of them to develop their body to be able to power the baby, they will not develop that one. They will be doing laziness up and down. And as they are doing laziness up and down, it's very funny. They will not be strong. They will be very weak. Yet they will be powering the developmental design of a baby for 6 months. And 6 months, for 9 months. When they start that power, in the first 3 months is not even real power. The last 6 months, that last 6 months, is that time it has started to turn into flesh. You get power the fetus very well, but you don't have enough energy. You are a weakling from start. No problem. Exercise power nutrients. You get power enough nutrients. Don't forget, your body is self first before baby. If you cannot power yourself very well, then the baby will be lacking in nutrients. You get? Now, when the baby is lacking in nutrients and a lot of things, that is problem number one. The baby will not be as strong as it should be from the gene. So if the gene says this baby should be 1000 megawatt power, you will cause the child to be like maybe 100 megawatt power, because you did not let everything work very well. That is one part. The other part is your genetics itself. Your genetics is not complete, as the guy's own is not complete too. You join together, both of them are incomplete. Now you give birth to, you are one full version of human being. Your other partner is another full version of human being. When you combine together, you give birth to just 10% of both of you versions. You are supposed to give birth to 100% of both of you versions. We are not giving birth to 10% of both of you versions. What do you expect from that? 10% of both of you versions. It means I would say one thing about immortality. Now, don't forget, every activated gene in you is what will first be copied to your child before the inactivated gene. If God created man perfectly from start, you get, it means the immortality gene is there. It is not just activated. If the immortality gene is not activated and is the most important gene, you get, it means it is one of the last gene that will be activated. Now the body will now prioritize activated one first, non-activated one last. Now you did not complete everything very well. You will now forget immortality gene at home. Like you will not copy the immortality gene. You will now copy for the child every other gene. Last you will now discover this child cannot be an immortal, because the father caused and the mother caused the child not to have the gene. Thanks to God, he did not do it that way. The way he did it is that if you can balance everything you currently have, you can be an immortal. But the problem is you will be a weak immortal, while some people will be a very powerful immortal. There will be first class powerful immortal, and there will be maybe pass immortal. You get what I'm saying now? So that's why you should be careful of the way you sexually destroy yourself for your children, for your future. Now, aside that, even you at the present stage, you have what they call, your body is trying to repair. My body is trying to repair from the damages of gene, like incompleteness of the gene. The voids are there. Then you are randomly having sex with people with impaired version that is even stupid than the one you have. And then you've now used a lot of drugs, because let me tell you the fact, drugs play a big role. Drugs make your body define you as irrelevant. Then anything external will take more relevance than you. In short, the gene you have before, once you start using drugs that is around your sexual organs, that the major function is around your sexual organs, what will happen is that your body will not trust your own innate gene again. If it sees another person's gene, even if your gene is better than that replacement, your gene will now try and replace your own gene with that gene without even testing, because it does not even know how to test again. You made your immune system too lazy, because it's the immune system that is in charge of all these too. Immune system does not stop at protecting from germs. It also tries to protect you from DNA changes that is not empowering in nature. It means all those kind of mutations that will cause you problem, your immune system is trying to protect you from them. The stronger your immune system, it means you will be able to overwrite and replace your own DNA with better ones. It means you'll be able to protect your DNA from being overwritten by worse ones. You understand what I'm saying? That is how everything is. That is why in the way we go into this sexual destruction is very funny. And if you are not going to ask me, Raphael, what's the way out? I'll tell you in 3 words. 1, if you have not experienced sex at all, and you are not up to 15 years, see, all the sexual fantasy you have, start to put them inside dictionary. Reserve them. After you are like 16 years old, you can explore. You get? Explore everything. But always remember, please, your brain first before your bottom. Like before your prick, before your vagina. Your brain first. You cannot copy what you don't have. Have first before preparing copy. You get? First have before you prepare your body for copy. You get? So have first before copy. That is the first advice. You get? That will help a lot. It will help a lot. So if you have not experienced sex before, you get? Don't rush. Don't rush. Calm down. Wait till you are 16. Then you can decide. The decision is yours. Like, you don't have any trap from the one of early again. If you can wait till even further years to make it stronger, wait. If you can't, nobody is forcing you, but still make sure brain first. But having a lot of time before, we like, okay, you've put in contingency plan for what if I was 16 before masturbation at all. Mo ti kọjá 16. I was close to 17 before masturbation at all. And that's all till I was 24 before masturbate sex. There's no sex in my dictionary till now. You get? It means when you talk about gene identity, I am 100% me. You get? Not only that I am 100% me, I'm also prepared to remove any stupid gene. My body knows me very well. At least my immune system understands everything that makes Raphael up. Any changes, it is going to delete. You get? Any changes, it is going to delete. It will not last there. But she will buy. Let mama delete it. This is not Raphael. This is not Raphael. This is not Raphael. We like Raphael as he is. That's what the immune system will be saying. Not until maybe I put myself in some kind of situation, and then it will be like, okay, this person gone having this gene. We spend a very, 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 very long time before the body will not start to consider. Let us consider. Okay, let us accept and test. You will have to stay for a long time. That is for me, because my body knows everything that makes me up. For many people, it's immediate. Like, they will just accept everything acceptable. Like, as it enters, they use. They don't even try to verify. They did not try to, you get? It happens a lot. You will see a lot of people like that. It's not their fault. It's because their body is lacking a lot. You get? Their development is not complete, so their body wants to balance back. A body that is not lacking anything, we see no need of balancing back. I don't need what you are bringing. But the one that has problem will be accepting, like, I need solution to my problem constantly. And the body is more righteous than you think. It's righteous than your mind. You get? Your body is more righteous than you think. Whatever it's trying to do is trying to survive. You get? You are the one that is supposed to lead it. Okay, I know you want to survive, but where you are looking at is wrong. Let us do it together. You get? So when you are feeling sexual urge, it might be because you need some gene urgently. You will constantly be having that urge. If you see a guy or a girl you have that urge for, possibly that guy or that girl have that gene. You get what I'm saying now? That is just one. Sometimes it might just be body overload. Like, the body just want to have pleasure. You get? The body just want to, not just the body alone. You yourself want to have pleasure. You want to just gyrate. You want to, you get? But there's always one thing. If your body is complete, you cannot have a kind of sexual seduction that you cannot explain, unless your body needs something that you cannot understand. So that is the first explanation or whatever advice to the set of people that have not had sex. For those that have had sex before 15. Now, let's just do it on an age range. If you are a guy or you are a girl, you've already had the sex. Now, what you need to do now is that what you are currently, don't plan to give birth to. What you are currently, try to master. Thank God for neuroplasticity. The brain has not totally lost the ability to develop all those processors. But don't forget, you already have default gene that is lacking those processors. You get? So what you just do is pause, develop yourself, all your strength, all your muscle, whatever, develop them. You get? When the stronger you get, during the sexual intercourse, your body will try to update your current state into it. You get what I'm saying now? Do that for some time without giving birth. You get? Do that continuously for some time so that the integration will be complete. Don't use any kind of drugs to fasten the process, or any kind of chemical to go and cause one random chemical reaction that will cause problem. You get, make sure you are pure and clean. You get what I'm saying? Especially when your body does not even know the difference between you and chemical. For instance, now if I take any drug, as I take them, 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after, if I urinate, everything I took will come out as the urine. If I take antibiotics, as I take it now, just one, if I go and urine there, 5 minutes, 10 minutes after, all the antibiotics I took is in the urine, because my body rejects it immediately. Like, we don't want it here. Simple. If it is what it wants, it will not. It will hold to it for some time, for the amount of time before throwing it out again. You get what I'm saying now? Before, the amount of time it needs it. You get. And if it is not detrimental, it might still leave it there as a reward. So, but once it starts to feel detrimental, the body do what? Pushes out immediately. You get, that's how the immune system works biophysically. You get what I'm saying now? So, because chemistry is very dangerous, so it's better to use biophysical pathways. So, on that note, you do it that way, gradually, you can upgrade. You can also call the attention of a GH.Dr to help you out. This is where you are. Okay, he's going to give you advices, he's going to consult, he's going to train you. You get what I'm saying now? Okay, everything you've lost, everything you did not develop them. Have you completed developing them? He's the one that we know. You get, okay, you have completely developing them. Now, you will first have to waste your sperm for some time. You get, when you waste your sperm for some time, you get, it means your body then develop your sexual fitness too. Once you've developed that, you don't have problem for your child. You get what I'm saying now? So there's no sickness that is not irreversible. You get, the only sickness that is not irreversible is after you've died. You get, if you are still alive and you can live, there is no irreversible sickness. Even short life is reversible. Immortality is achievable. So that is it for those major ones. So I'll not talk about sexual empowerment now. Now, there's what we call sexual empowerment. I've talked about sexual destruction, right? Now, sexual empowerment now is like, it's very different from sexual destruction. Now, sexual empowerment is sexual activities that empowers your gene, your child's gene, and your well-being as a whole. We all know that sexual activity that is mature is an exercise. That's the truth. That's the truth. If it's not an exercise, those immature body people will not be complaining of back pain. You get what I'm saying now? So even the sexual activity on one stand is a kind of physical empowerment. You get what I'm saying now? So it means on that note, you are empowering yourself physically using the sexual drive. It doesn't stop there. The second part is what we call this thing, gene transfer. Now this time around, maybe it's hard for men to see women stronger than them. So we cannot be looking for a way to say, I want to accept gene from a girl. Girls are generally lazy, that now it's close to impossible to find desirable traits. But for guys, all girls can find. You just have to look at guys that have the physical, mental, cellular attributes you would want for your child. You get, let a GH.Dr verify and put you through the process. That is it. You cannot do it on your own because you don't fully understand it. In some videos that I did before, especially the masturbate sex one, I told you it's a dangerous process too. The same way it can save, it can destroy. although since it's not saving like sudden saving, so it will not suddenly destroy. You get, maybe it's saving 10%, it can destroy 10% and recover 10% and things. But do you want to be stagnant? You want to make progress now, so you want to be like, even if there will be any 10% destruction, you've already make like 80% forward movement first. You made the kind of 20, 30, 40% forward movement before any kind of mistake that you will quickly recover in the next procedure. You get what I'm saying now? So that's why it should be supervised. You get what I'm saying now? If it is the gene transfer as defined in the first video, so I've explained that before. So those are the two things I would like to explain here: sexual destruction and sexual empowerment. Thank you very much. And this was done in campus Olabiso Onabanjo University. Ayeconet is still online. We don't have a physical base yet, and you can study online. We are moving to an online era. Being a university is about the knowledge, not about the facility. You understand what I'm saying now? The facility is just to provide an environment to apply the knowledge. You get what I'm saying now? So the knowledge base is currently online. It's the physical state we need. If you start your lectures online, then we can build the physical locations for you. So that is it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.